Hopefully it works. Oh no. I don't think you can do all these things at one time. Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me make sure. Nope.
Back the control of the government.
Oh, my bad. We can. Here we go.
So what we're going to do today in this case is if they refuse to produce their oath, we're going to attempt to create a grand jury of indictment and indict the judges for treason.
Imagine
and
that.
Arrest them. Because it's time in this country that we take back the control of the government from these corrupt corporations that seek to oppress us by squeezing every last penny they can out of us.
That's right.
Welcome to the call, everybody. We're going to get started here in just a minute. Thanks for being here. Little intro music, maybe.
Say hello to the jury. Say hello to the judge. We can repeal you now. Say you're ready to run, that's right. You see the finger pointed at you. Yeah, you want your freedom back and down. Yeah, we're sick and tired of sick and tired. You better get up and run. We hold the power down. Yeah, no more crying. We can replace you now. We'll get ready to die, that's right. You see the finger pointed at you. Yeah, you want your freedom back and down. Yeah, we're sick and tired of sick and tired. Better get up and run at you.
All right, man. I want to welcome you guys to the call, man. I am so super excited. I'm really excited that this song even hit #1 anywhere. This is just an amateur kind of thing I did for quite a few years. And, I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about me too. Some of you guys are new to the call. Some of you guys have never heard of me. You don't know who I am. And you know what? I'm nobody special, just first and foremost. Okay. I'm special because my Father in heaven says I'm special. And that's the only specialty you're going to get out of me. Only admissions you're going to get out of me today. Tonight, we're going to have a really great call. I am super, super excited because I got a really great question this week. I had a guy from TikTok, he kind of was critiquing what I was doing, and stuff like that. And that's cool. I like that. And I like it when people show some sort of ability to think, because I'm going to tell you, that's a rare commodity these days. Most people just take whatever the news says and down the street they go. Whatever Anna Von Wright says, they're down the street they go. And so let me tell you guys a little bit about me and who I am. Okay, I'm not a religious guy at all. I'm going to say that one more time. I am not a religious person. Okay, and let me explain to you why. Religions, all of our religions, Mormonism, created by man. If you're a Muslim, that was created by man. If you're a Mormon, that was created by man. And guess what? If you were a Christian, a Baptist, any of those things, that religion was also created by man. Okay? What I am is I am a practicing Hebrew. I'm not Jewish. Don't be confused. So just to give you guys a little background, a little bit of what it is, okay? There's 12 tribes of Israel, okay? Only 2 of them are Jewish, by the way. So don't believe that world news stuff. They're lying. Only 2 of them are Jewish, and the rest of the tribes have been scattered. They've been scattered out for a long time. One of the things that I knew as a Christian, because I grew up as a Christian, is that at some point in time, God, because that's all I knew him was back then, was going to be calling all of his people, and he was going to be waking up his people. In 2015, I'm one of those people he woke up. And I'm going to tell you, it didn't happen at Joel Osteen's church. It didn't happen in anybody's church. Truth be told, is I was out on tour with my band, and I did my last show August the 15th, 2015. And Jimmy Cutshaw was with me, and of course, everybody else. And we had come back from Colorado Springs. We did our last show up there. We came back from Colorado Springs, and I was living in Albuquerque at the time, and so was my bandmates. And I don't know, something inside of me was just very uneasy, and I fired my band. I told everybody, get your stuff out of my garage. I'm done. Folded it up. And as I was cleaning, and I was just really disturbed inside. I was just really and Jimmy, I apologize too, by the way. That was my bass player. I don't think I ever apologized. So I do apologize, Jimmy. And he'll know what I mean. Anyway, so I'm getting together my stuff, and and I'm unpacking the RV and everything, and getting all of our equipment, my equipment out of there, my equipment out of the RV, and putting stuff up, and I'm just not really happy. And all of a sudden, I had an incredible, I don't know, awakening. And I heard a voice tell me, like, all at one time. It was like trying to drink out of a fire hydrant, or trying to drink out of a fire hose. Okay. It was just so much information at one time. And it hit me so sideways that it emotionally suspended me. Imagine all of your emotions at 11. Okay. You know what they are right now. 10 is your peak. So imagine going a next step up that you didn't even know you had. You didn't even know you could feel, on the verge of insanity, really. And he spoke to me, and he told me, he says, I am your God. And you're going to get in that thing, and you're going to tell people about me. That was it. It completely blew my mind. Okay. But that was a special, and it stirs me up to even talk about it, because it was real, and it was so intense, and it shook me inside. And as soon as that happened, everything in my life changed. Everything in my life literally changed. I started looking for him, just to know that his name, just to know, him as God, was so, I'm going to mute you. Welcome to the call, by the way, everyone. Just to know him singly as just a single, that doesn't even make any sense, but you know what I mean? Just by himself as just God, just seems so discrediting. It seemed like there's just should be so much more. And if you guys want to look this up, those of you guys that are showing this, I'm showing this on the screen. For those of you guys that want to call in, or if you want to join us on Uber Conference, you can. It's uberconference.com/freedom school. Okay, so it's uberconference.com /freedom school. Anyway, I'm sharing the screen right now with the World History Encyclopedia, and I'm going to tell you, not too many people argue with these guys. Okay, I'm not serious. It's neutral ground. And tonight we're going to talk about who's doing what. Okay, because we got these groups that are out there, and they're called the L group. They worship, and then they put L in front of everything. Their name is L something. You guys have probably seen them on Facebook out here, right? And they observe the feasts and that sort of thing. Well, something similar happened to me, and I started just going nuts. I started going everywhere. I started, here's what I actually did. It was Father's Day weekend, and I sent out a bunch of emails to every church, and I asked some very specific questions. Yahweh gave me these questions to ask them, and it doesn't matter what the questions are at this point. But I'm going to tell you, they were intended to drive off anybody that wanted to try to indoctrinate me. Okay. I was looking for the boss. I don't want to talk to these low-level people. Okay. I mean, when he talks to you and he speaks to you, you're like, forget everybody. I'm going to go straight to him. I want to talk to the boss. Where is he? And that's exactly how I felt, because there was a hunger that started burning inside of me, a real truth for the first time. And all that pain that I had when I wrote that song, War Cry, and I did that album, he took all that pain away. all of it, to the point where it took me 2 years to even learn how to play again, because I didn't have anything to plug into emotionally to play guitar. I play 13 instruments, by the way. So it completely crippled it, completely stopped everything I was doing. And when something in your life does that, you need to pay attention. Sorry. You need to pay attention to these things. Sorry about that, you guys. I got to mute you coming in. Welcome to the call, everyone. You got to pay attention to those things. Okay. And as people come in, I have to click over and click them in. So bear with me, you guys. So tonight we're going to be, I had a gentleman on TikTok. I would hope he's a gentleman. He seems like he is. Anyway, and he said that the name Yahweh means to be mischievous, like implying that there is some sort of something else. Well, I'm going to tell you, prospectively, that could actually be true. Because if you were to take them from an Egyptian perspective, Hebrews, not Jews, Hebrews were looked at and looked upon as lesser people because they were enslaved. And why were they enslaved? They were enslaved by Egypt because they didn't want to follow the rules. And there weren't really any rules per se. I mean, but there was a separation between the Creator and his people at that time. And, you know, when Moses came to terms with who he was, he didn't know. I mean, he was just some guy living in the palace over there. He didn't even know he was a Hebrew for a long time. But you know what? Yahweh woke him up. And he says, you know what? You're Moses. And you're important. And I need you right now. And that's exactly what Yahweh did to me. He said, it's time. It's time, Tim Damron. It's time for you to get better. It's time for you to do things right. And to do things according to what I want you to do. Or, I'm sorry, what he wants me to do, not what I want to do. So I got this hunger. And I think this gentleman that sent this to me, maybe he has the same hunger too. So I hope this helps. Guys, go to, gosh, we can actually listen to the whole article if you wanted to. But if you go to the World Encyclopedia here, I'm not going to cheat. I'm not going to do that. Okay. But basically it says right here, it says Yahweh is the name of the state God of the ancient kingdom of Israel and later the kingdom of Judah. His name is composed of 4 Hebrew consonants, YHWH, known as the, I don't know, I'm just not going to go there. I'm going to probably mess it up. So we'll just leave my illiteracy at the door. Sorry, guys. Which the prophet Moses said to have revealed to his people. Okay, so what happened was basically Moses was awakened and he said, you're going to go free my people. Okay, they've paid their dues. It's fine. You're not going to be slaves anymore. And we're going to give them a shot. And you guys could make it to the promised land. Why am I telling you all this stuff? You'll find out in a second. I promise. It's going to get good. Okay. So anyway, basically, when you finish reading through this article and it covers like the Bronze Age to 3500 to 1200 BCE. I mean, this goes way back, way more back than we have time to do tonight. And I'm not going to bore you with all this because it's a lot, but it's not really boring. I'm just going to summarize it for you. Okay. So when you go into Genesis and you read, and it talks about the second, third verse in there. It's second, third chapter in there. It starts talking about creating a man. Okay. And so what you see is that there's a meeting of the minds. Okay. There's some people there because it says, let us create man in our own image. But who's us? Well, I can tell you if you read through here, you're going to find out the Most High, which is based up in, so Yahweh is a Canaanite God. Basically, he's from Canaanite. Okay. And if you go through the book of Deuteronomy, the Most High El, okay, so we know that we got the Most High El, and you'll hear those guys say this a lot, to the Most High El, to the Most High, right? And you'll hear that a lot, okay? That's very common language we're hearing nowadays. I didn't hear this 25 years ago, okay? Gosh, I'm old. Anyway, sorry about that. So when we go through here, we start talking about this, and it says Yahweh's portion is his people. Oh, does that mean Yahweh has his own people? And maybe Lord Baal, maybe he has his own people. And maybe there's somebody else that has their own people. We just don't know. But here's what we do know, that the Most High El, which is the Most High El, if you read through here, it's going to tell you that in Deuteronomy, he's the ruler of his people. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to pause like that. It just took me a second. He basically just gave, he basically, if you read through this, and I'm just trying to summarize it really quickly for you, and I encourage you to read this, okay? Don't take my word for it. Go and read this stuff, okay? And so basically, the Most High El put Yahweh in charge of his people. Okay. So how do we know who his people are? Well, you're going to know who his people are by how they act. I say this a lot. Okay. What does it say? What does it say just a second ago? I just read this, right? It says that it's, let me find it here. Anyway, and then let me just skip that, just in the interest of time. And I'm sorry, forgive me for skipping through this like I am. I'm sorry. I probably should go through it a little bit slower, and I'll try to. I'm going to slow down a little bit. Okay. So basically, the Most High El appointed Yahweh to be over his people. Okay. And just as Yahweh woke up Moses, he's waking up everybody. That means the El group is waking up. That means Yahweh's group is waking up. But let me tell you something really special about Yahweh. And if you keep reading through here, and again, it's really hard to argue with the World History Encyclopedia. Yes, I know they edit some things out and they take things out. But this right here, when you start talking about this right here, you'll hear a lot of pastors talk about, they'll go back to the Old Testament, and they go back to, what they call the first, what do they call that thing? Well, they believe there's like a 2.0. They believe that there's since Yeshua came along, since the Messiah came, that there's a whole new set of rules now, and that you don't have to obey the other rules. And that's quite not true. And that's another discussion. It really is another discussion, and it divides a lot of people. Okay. But I'm going to tell you, truth will always divide people, even righteous people. And, I had another comment that came on, and I said, one of the things that Christians understand, even though they don't understand a lot of things, but one thing they do understand is that there is a difference between church and state. And I had somebody say, a lot of people are really not happy with that comment. Well, let me tell you why there should be a separation of church and state. And let me tell you why there is, okay? Because whether you want it to be or whether you don't want it to be, there is. And here's why. Politics and power, absolute power, corrupts. Yahweh, following the path of wisdom, creates humility. Do you see how those two don't mix? So as much as you would like to mix the water and the oil of these two will never mix. It will never happen. And it's because there's different people in charge of this world. I think I've demonstrated that tonight. We've got different people in charge. We've got a lot of influences here. Do some research on Azar and some of these other these other defiled beings that are roaming around right now. I printed up a list of the other day. This is kind of on a separate note, but I printed up a list of what narcissism is. And when you meet a narcissist, holy cow, it's like they got the playbook. It's like they were like, all right, blue 32, we're going to hut, and throw it down the line. Break. And then off they go. And what do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They do exactly that. What does that tell you? Well, let me ask you another question. If you have 2 children in your house, okay, and one of them is a neat freak and the other one is messy, who's more likely to have messed up the kitchen? You see my point? So what I'm saying is that we need to, sorry about that. couple of distractions over here. We need to focus on our truth. And the thing is that we're not capable of mixing those two things. You can't mix humility and absolute power. Humility, absolute power corrupts humility every time. I mean, if you read through our Bibles, it does. If you look at what happens to our people in government, it does. It corrupts them. It corrupts every one of them. And I think that's one of the core issues we have in this country, is because we can't have transparency because everybody's hiding something. But you know what? Yahweh says he is within his people. So that means his rules, his laws, his way of living is found within his people. Okay? So these guys running around trying to get all this recognition to make sure it's looking good. Okay? That's a false hope. You're impressing the wrong people. If you want to go to war with somebody, okay? And I mean, we got a lot of that going on these days, don't we? We got wars and rumors of wars, don't we? We got natural disasters all over the place. You know, Tennessee's been flooding, the inbred capital of the world. Yahweh's judgment is coming. If you want to go to war, if you read through this article on this World History Encyclopedia article about Yahweh, you're going to see that if you want to go to war and you want to win, you better call upon Yahweh. Not Jesus. He ain't going to do anything for you. Let's talk about Jesus. We'll talk about who that guy is. Well, number one, the letter J is only 600 years old. I don't care if you hate me for it or not. Sorry, it just is. Number two, Christianity was created by man. Absolutely created. You can look it up. Okay, don't shoot the messenger. So what I have and what I serve and what I do as a Hebrew is not something that was created by man. This was an agreement that was created by Yahweh himself through Moses, through his people, through the Torah, through the 10 Commandments. And oftentimes you hear these people, these pastors, and they just claim to live by the 10 Commandments, but they really don't. And they tell you, oh, well, that's old law. That's Old Testament stuff. That's the old covenant. Doesn't apply anymore. And you know, here's the problem with that is that even though it doesn't, hold on a second. So what we got to do is we got to think about these sorts of things. And welcome to the call, everybody. I'm going to stop sharing so you guys can see who I am. Welcome to the call. Welcome everyone that's logged in. Let me just get some acknowledgments out. We've got San Antonio, Texas. Laura, welcome to the call. Frago, North Dakota. And we've got Pennsylvania on the call. That's what's up. So welcome, everyone. I'm glad you're all here. So one of the things that I think pastors often overlook, and they do it on purpose, literally, okay? They do it because they want to avoid this. You know, it says not to take our Creator's name in vain, okay? Now, what does that mean? That mean create a cuss word out of it? I mean, it could, but not necessarily. So does the GD rule apply? I don't think so. I don't think there's any biblical reference to it. So what does that actually mean? Welcome, Charleston. What does that actually mean? Well, what that means, it means not to misuse the name. If you look it up in other versions, like the Torah, if you go into the actual Hebrew language and look it up, you're going to see that it actually means to not misuse the name. Well, what does that mean to not misuse the name? Well, that means quite simply, if my wife's name is Jessica, and if I called her on the phone and it's like, hey, Beverly, what's cracking? Oh, she would lose it. Who's Beverly? You know what? Every time we misuse the name of Yahweh and we decide we want to address him as an action figure on the Avengers, like we just say he's God, you know, because that's the same thing. There's no blasphemy there. You see, nobody has a problem saying that they're God or a God. Okay. If you look at our money, what does it say? In God we trust. Well, which one? Well, they did that on purpose. Why? Because they're misusing the name of Yahweh. And that's not how it works. Because if it was your way, his name would be your way. But it's not. It's his way. It's Yah's way. I mean, literally, it's in the spelling, guys. So what happened in my life? Everything changed. I started following him. I started learning what the feasts were all about. I started learning about things that I shouldn't eat anymore. Things that are trash. They're pure trash. And we shouldn't eat them. And America is dying and paying a terrible price for it right now, today, and been doing it for quite some time. Why? Well, the word of Yah and the Torah describes what we're supposed to eat and what we're not supposed to eat. That is the handbook for this body, for your body. And if you want to live, a life that's honorable, that you can serve Yahweh and be a tool and be used by him, you're going to take care of that vessel. If you're not, you're going to cover it in tattoos. You're going to let anybody put anything they want in it. You're going to go down, and every time somebody says something on the TV, you're going to be the first one in line, or you're going to be one of them dudes sitting 4 miles in a car waiting to get a poke in the arm. For what? Where's your faith? America's lost its faith. But America is reaping judgment today. Today. We've got natural disasters that are going on all over the world right now. Everywhere. We got a heat wave in Texas right now. It's unbelievable. It was 137 degrees the other day in Death Valley, California. I'm sorry, Death Valley, the desert out there. No kidding. Tennessee had flooding yesterday. Lots of people in trouble. Lots of people without. And it's going to get worse. Why? Because Yahweh's judgment is on this land. We've created all these laws. I'm going to take this off for just a minute. We created all these laws. And we've defined them in books like this, Black's Law Dictionary. And we literally have created spell books that we were never supposed to do. We're participating in things, and I'm really glad that lost their interest. That's good. We don't need that on there. So this is the kind of stuff that's a problem. All of these laws and codes that have been created, they have been created so that they don't have to do what this says. Okay? This is what I read out of, by the way. Okay? And I didn't say I was Jewish. You don't have to be Jewish to read out of a Jewish Bible. It's okay. But it'll make you hungry. And you'll get humble. And you'll get that wisdom. You know, how did all this stuff get all crazy like it did? That's a good question. And somebody asked me that this week. I don't really know because I wasn't here. And I wasn't involved in it either. But in my opinion, I believe that things went south as soon as his people stopped consulting Yahweh. As soon as people stopped going into the Holy of Holies. When the Holy of Holies went down and that was taken and removed and that relationship was taken away, the nations of this country fell to pieces. They started falling to pieces. I believe that's when it started. You know, one of the worst things I think happened to Israel in Israel history is when they got their first king. They didn't need a king. We already have a king. And I'm going to tell you there's a lot of folks that are really worried about our country right now. You don't need to be worried about this country. You need to be worried about you. Because the clock is ticking, guys, gals. You need fruits in your life. I need fruits in my life. I need to show that I'm worthy. And we need that. Okay. One of the reasons that I expose the fraud every week is because I hate liars. I absolutely hate them. I absolutely hate people that steal other people's knowledge, twist it, and then go put it out somewhere else. And I'm going to tell you, I have been teaching privately, and I haven't seen too much stuff running around of mine, which I'm glad. But, you know, when I do see it come back to me, it really does upset me. It troubles me. It troubles me that somebody didn't take the time to study and show themselves approved and really learn this process. They just got like a little information and just ran down the street with their underwear on their head. I did it too. I did it too. And I can assure you that Yahweh is not a fraud. If you're praying to anything else other than Yeshua or Yahweh or Yahuwah or Yah, that's another one of his names. And why does he have so many names? Because he does so many different things. And here's the real kicker. Here's the Saturday night special. Not only does he do lots of things, but he does them perfectly every single time, and he never fails. Ever. You'll never finish second when you take Yahweh to battle with you. You read it, it's in the encyclopedia. I mean, shoot, if those idiots got it, we certainly should figure it out, right? Come on, man. Work with me. Get out of those churches. Get out of those slave camps. That's what they are. They're slave camps. Every one of these churches, they're all slave camps. You know, they're going to tell you that the new covenant is the new covenant. And you can get away with anything you want. And you don't have to follow any of the rules. Why? Because Jesus did it. Okay, number one, Jesus didn't do anything. Number two, he might have painted your house, but he didn't do that. But what Yeshua did was he showed humanity that it could be done. He showed humanity a glimpse of how much power the name of Yahweh has. And the name is so powerful that our culture hides it, condemns it. Don't look at it. Don't say it. Just say God. It's better. Why? Because you're just speaking into the air. That'd be like me calling my wife on the phone and I was like, hey, man, I'm looking for a woman. Are you a woman? She'd be like, what is wrong with you? Are you messing with me? Are you punking me? Is there a camera somewhere? What? I mean, my wife would think I would be playing a joke on her if I did something like that. But Yahweh is a jealous God. He doesn't put up with that stuff. If you don't believe me, read the Old Testament. Read what happened to Moses. Read the turmoil that the nation of Israel was in right at the time. They were completely enslaved. Can you imagine an entire country completely enslaved? Yes, you can, because the United States is one of those, completely enslaved. And there is a Moses out there. But his name isn't Moses anymore. His name is Yeshua. You hear me? His name is Yeshua, and he's coming. And he's going to judge this place. Right now, we're seeing his judgment is on this place now. Okay? The seals are open. We got monkeypox. It's in Revelation chapter 14, man. It was written 2,000 years ago. Said they were going to have these sores on their bodies. And they're going to be painful. And people are going to wish for death. And and monkeypox is kind of a venereal disease. It's in that market. So it's kind of like herpes. And the CDC is saying that it's going to fall off and not come back. But the majority of the folks that are getting this disease or getting this whatever, they're homosexual men. Don't get mad at me for it. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just telling you that's what the numbers say. Okay? I know it's not popular. It doesn't come with pronouns. It doesn't even come with a condom. It's just straight out. It's truth. That's what we do here. And I'm going to tell you, judgment is coming. And we got a small window to make this thing happen. I woke up back in 2015. And I have been running so hard, I've never even looked back. I love him so much. And he took this. He took a moron, me, the moron, and he made me really smart. Why? Just because I did what he said. I did the 10 and all the feasts. And I studied and I showed myself approved. And I start my day every single day with him every single morning. And I greet him and I thank him. And I'm alive. And I can speak with you today. And then I can hug my wife today. I got 8 friends since 2017 that can't say that today. I got 8 friends that I buried in the ground. People that I know. People that I spoke to. And I told them what Yahuwah has done for me. He gave me eyes that can see, and he gave me a mind that is clear, and it doesn't have confusion anymore. I see what's out there. And the fact that we've been doing this since 2015 is literally the proof. There's a lot of folks out there that say they have fruits, man, but they don't. You know, I've been talking about Kenny Plaster a lot because it's metaphoric. No, I'm kidding. No, I've been talking about him because he's a pain in the butt. He needs to cool down. Let me tell you, if you guys are gonna take on this walk, you're gonna learn these processes. You're not gonna be able to balance them unless you have something in your life that can give you balance. If your spirit is out of balance, you're not going to get any of this. Those of you guys that are studying this walk and you're really trying, where you're failing is that you're not turning on the lights down here. You got to turn on this. And you can't do that on your own. You can't. Our parents handed us their sins to deal with. Yeah. I think we can all say that. You know, I don't want to fix that about me. You know what? Let him fix it. He has the problem, or she has the problem. Let them fix it. Just kick them out when they're 18. Let them figure it out. Yeah. And now we got kiddos that we can't throw out of the house anymore. You know what I mean? Because they're just not equipped. I'm seeing it all over America. Humility is in short supply where there is lots of power. And you know what that means? That means get humble and get behind the power. Get behind some real power. You want some change in government? You want some change in what's going on? We got to change. We got to stand. Because if anybody comes to war with a child of Yah, I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for you. Historically, it's a bad idea. Really? All right. Open your books. Open your history books or Google this. The War of 1967 in Israel. Yeah. Egypt and Syria both went after Israel. They only occupied 143 square miles. That's it. That's less than it's just nothing. Okay. For a whole country of people to occupy themselves in. And it's crazy. But you know what? In 7 days, they smoked those guys. They smoked them all. And I mean, and not just a little, a lot. With no equipment. I mean, just basically basic F-16s, nothing special. How does that happen? Because they took Yahweh with them. Is somebody after your kids? Is somebody taking your kids right now? We help a lot of folks, man, and I see this every day. And one of the core weaknesses I see is that the parents, they're not ready. They weren't ready to be married when they got married. They didn't have a foundation. They didn't have a belief system that said checks and balances that says this is how far we're going to go with this. Why? Because this is what Yahweh says to do. See, we don't have that anymore. It's a whatever. Color your hair purple. Let it figure itself out, right? And we're seeing a lot of that. So what I got to tell you is the fraud out there is religion. All of it. All of it. Yahweh has one covenant with his people. One covenant. And it's right in here. It's in the Torah. Okay? We got to start using the right names. Because if you're using the right names, you're also using the right spells, aren't you? You ever try to look up somebody in the phone book without their name? It's pretty hard to do, man. And if you dial some random number, you're going to get some random dude, aren't you? Person. So we got to change that. We got to change that in our lives. If you want to know who Yahweh is, stop talking to men. If you want to know if Jesus Christ is real or not real, talk to Yahweh. You hear what I said? Talk to Yahweh. Simply this. You know what? The Messiah died so that we could talk to the Creator directly. Okay? We're not supposed to be talking to him. He's at the right hand. He's at the right hand of the Father right now. It's in the New Testament. You hear a lot of these people, you need to have a relationship with Jesus. You can't. But you can have a relationship with the Ruha HaKodesh. What is that? It took me like a year to be able to say that, really. But who is that? Well, I'll simplify it for you. It's the Holy Spirit. Okay? We can have a relationship with that. And when it's time to go to battle, believe me, he'll stick closer to you than a brother. That's in Proverbs. It's a fact. How do we get there? We got to humble ourselves. How do we humble ourselves? Well, I can tell you there's lots of biblical examples of people being humbled. For example, there have been kings that have been sent out to go graze in the fields. And I'm not telling you should go do that. No. You need to do what you think you need to do. You know what? You need to reach inside. You need to talk to him. Use the right name. Just try it, man. Just try it, okay? You know what? If you go by the Christian belief system, Jesus died so that we could talk to the Father, did he not? Okay, so talk to the Father. But stop calling him God. He's not on a nickel. He's not on a quarter. His name is Yahweh or Yah. Reach out to him. Talk to him. He may not believe you because, you know, we lie a lot as people. We're pretty deceptive as people. We're not genuine all the time. And we say things, you know, out of desperation. But, you know, when the rubber hits the road, a lot of times we just fail. You want to stop failing? You want to stop failing? Stop doing it on your own. Call upon the name of Yahweh. Start your day with Yahweh. Give him that respect. Read about him. Learn about him. Stop talking to men. Stop talking to people. You know, I woke up to this whole sovereignty thing, whatever, you know, I guess people waking up, constitutional stuff, things like that. I started waking up to all that because I was asking Yahweh for closure. I was asking Yahweh, how did these things happen to me in court? How did these people take advantage of me? How is this even legal? And I needed closure. I needed it. I needed it for my own sanity. And you know what? I got it. And I can tell you, today is his day of rest. This is the day we're supposed to worship him all day. And it ends tonight at 6 p.m., sundown. And basically, to make it just real simple, it's basically all the Mondays this month. And it's all on the appropriate days. It's on those days. So you'll see what I'm talking about. It's the 8th, the 15th, the 22nd, and the 29th. Those are the days. And those correspond with the new moon, which if you look in Ephesians, that's when our Sabbath is supposed to be. Christian churches will tell you these days you can just make it up. You can just make it whatever day you want. Let me tell you something. You go try to see your dentist like that. Bet that won't work. Why do you think the Creator should be any different? Don't you think he deserves just a little bit more? I know he deserves a little bit more because I should be dead right now. And I think there's a lot of people out there that could say the same thing. He saved me. And he can save you today too. There's no altar call today, guys. It's not going to happen. Those aren't real either. You don't hear any organ music in the background. You don't hear any of this stuff in the background. But I'm pleading with every one of you today. Time is short, real short. Our world is dying. Our governments are dying all over the world. They're saying China is going to have their government overthrown too. And, you know, you got people in the Israeli government that have stepped down. You got people in Greece, I think, that are stepping down. I'm not sure on that one. But nevertheless, we're having a lot of problems. And the problem that we're having is that people. And I'm telling you, Yahweh is talking to you. If you feel a tickle in your heart right now, and you're feeling like, you know what, maybe you should take that right turn, take it. You ain't got nothing to lose, man. Big deal. You can't eat pork anymore. Once you get yourself away from that trash, you get out of that garbage can and stop eating those Those cockroaches, the shrimp and the lobster, and they're just cockroaches, clams and all that garbage. Stop eating that stuff. Start purifying this vessel so Yahweh can use you. And if he can use you, then you got a chance, man. You got a chance to change this world. You got a chance to do something that your parents couldn't do. You can impress the Most High. You could be called his son, his daughter today, tonight, right now. What's it going to take? You to make a choice, to open your Bible, abandon these man philosophies, and rely on the Ruach HaKodesh to come and intervene into your heart and minister to you. Take that trash out of your life. I know some people that are on the call tonight are going through a lot of changes in their lives, marital changes. And if that's you, you know what? I've been banging on your door for weeks. I love you, man. I love all of y'all. Some of you guys are going through foreclosure right now. You know what? That's a test. That's a test. Where's your faith? Are you going to war? You bring Yahweh to war. Only if you want to win. If you guys are going through this stuff and you need to be ministered to, don't look to a man to minister to you, because that's not how it works. Talk to Yahweh. Reach out to him. If you're lonely, I saw somebody on Facebook today posted some things saying, I'm lonely. That tells me right there, I'm sorry you're lonely, but I mean, she's just unplugged. Plug into what Yahweh has for you. Because I'm here to tell you guys, this world's got nothing for you guys. It's got nothing. It's got nothing but lies and pain. And for you to go out and go work harder, pretty much. Yahweh can write your paychecks today if you let him. Yahweh will make your enemies bow to you if you'll let him today. He can do that. He's just that good. And I'm here to tell you, he makes them bow to me all the time. There's a lot of teachers out there that are teaching things. Like I said, Kenny Plaster, didn't talk about the firm mailing book. Does he have a firm mailing book looks like this? Well, I doubt it, because this is 2 of them. So I know he doesn't have 2 of these. Those of you guys that are trying to perfect free postage, those of you guys are trying to get the license plates off your cars, and maybe you just don't want to pay those taxes anymore. Maybe you want to get on this do not detain list. Well, let me tell you guys something about that. I'm going to talk about that just a second, and then I'll circle back around. There's 2 do not detain lists. One of them you don't want to be on. And one of the ones that I do see on TikTok, and I meant to take a screenshot of it and show you guys, was the terrorist watch list do not detain list. Yeah. That means that if they're going to arrest you, they have to call an FBI agent and all kinds of other stuff. And you'll see these momos on TikTok, and they go, oh, look what I did. You got yourself on a list, you moron. Yeah, because you're stupid. Study and show yourself approved. If you want to know how this stuff works, let me tell you something. Number 1, all of this stuff, and you'll know what I mean by this stuff. That's kind of up in the air. I can't be too specific about that. But all of this stuff was written to confuse you. And it was written and directed by really, really, really complicated and smart people that really thought this stuff out. And not really smart people, probably Anunnaki or the Nephilim or some other kind of purported demon running around. Probably came up with this twisted nonsense, we see in this Black's Law Dictionary, and decided, you can overcome this. You can overcome all of this. And here's how I know this. Yeshua, he went before Pontius Pilate, and he really tried to shake him down, didn't he? Didn't work. You know why? Because he had a perception that was over and above what Pontius Pilate had. And he was able to provide answers that he couldn't overcome. Can I tell you, Yahweh is the only one that's going to give you that kind of perception. Okay? I don't have a bunch of degrees. I really don't. I haven't been to a bunch of, fancy prep schools and colleges and things like that. I don't have any of that stuff. But when it was time for me to go to war with these people, Yahweh gave me everything I needed to do it. And I still go to war with these guys every day in courts. We help people out all the time. So where does that leave us right now? Well, we got about 10 minutes left. And I just want to tell you guys that, well, during this week, during this month, since Monday is on Shabbat, we're gonna be honoring Yahweh, and we're gonna be talking about more of these things. And I'm gonna be sharing about more of my belief systems and the Hebrew belief systems, which, by the way, is not a religion. That's a covenant between man and Yahweh. That's what this is. Nobody made this up. Okay, this Torah, these writings, they didn't make this stuff up. We believe in it all. We read them all. Enoch, everything. So we're going to go into more of this stuff throughout the month. I'm super excited about it. I've never actually done this before. And I thought about canceling the call, in light of, Shabbat, but you know what? I thought even better, why don't we just share it together? I thought that'd be pretty cool with you guys. And you know what? We'll pick up all the sovereignty nonsense, at the end of the month. By the way, it'll probably all collect really good. Hey, Kenny, glad you're out there. Oh, and by the way, just for the record, David Strait and Anna Von Wrong and Kenny Plaster did not make it to the call tonight. Bok, 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 bok. And this is what happens when you bring Yahweh with you to battle. They won't show up. Just that simple. And when they do show up, they better bring a lunch because you're going to need it. Yeah, because Yahweh has an incredible record. He really, really does. Sodom and Gomorrah smoked them all. Why? Because they're being perverted and nasty. We've got a lot of perverted and nasty people here, don't we, in this country? And that's why we got problems. Yeah, all the rich people are pedophiles. That's what we're seeing. And we're going to see it. It's going to be exposed even more. I encourage you, pray for this country. Get on your face and pray for yourselves. And pray for me too. Because I need the prayer and you guys need the practice. Guaranteed. Anyway. Let's go ahead and close in prayer. I appreciate all of you guys being here tonight. I encourage you to look up this World Encyclopedia thing and read it. Okay, if you don't want to read it, click the little thing and it'll read it to you. There you go. Do that. Learn who Yahweh is. Learn how powerful this name is. And when you do, and you see your adversary, you won't turn your face from your adversary. You'll make eye contact and you'll stare him down. Like, I'll see you in a minute. And they'll shake with fear. Yeah. Even from a little 5'6" dude like me. You'd be surprised. Let's bow our heads. Ooh, hold on a second. Hold on just a second. Let me cover up here. Now, what is this? A lot of people ask me what this is. Okay, well, this is called a talit. And we use this as our prayer closet. See, the minute you put it over your face, it immediately shuts off this traffic that's coming into your ears. And this is a prayer closet. This is something that I do pretty often, and we pray. So let's go ahead and close out tonight's prayer with prayer. Father in heaven, we just thank you for all that you do. We bless your holy name today, and we thank you for Shabbat. We thank you for the message of love that you've given us tonight, Father. And I pray that you just intervene in all the hearts here tonight. I pray that you soften their hearts. We lift up our enemies today to you, Father, because they need that help. They need that grace, Father. And we lift up these false teachers too, Father. I pray that all these teachers that are out there that are teaching the wrong thing, Father, I know that they're according to your plan. Let them stay away from us. Let them stay away from our families, Father. Put your hedge of protection around all of our families tonight, Father. Help us be close to you tonight, Father. Help us to all learn what it is to honor you and what it is to be loved by you. We give you praise, honor, and glory in all things. And in all things, we give you praise. Shalom, everyone. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you next Monday. I can't wait to tell you what next week's topic is going to be about. Stay tuned on the TikTok. We'll be putting it out on TikTok, on my TikTok channel there. Good night, everyone. Be blessed, you guys. Thank you.